I mean, what a day, what a weekend.
Great day. Tricky day with all this weather. A bit of a late start, a mega first lap by Oscar, and he was in control. We tried to split strategies there, which was a driver decision to see if that's what we wanted to try. And took a little bit longer for the hards to come in than maybe we thought, but it was getting pretty close there at the end, but an exciting day.
No, I would have asked, I mean, Lando in that first one, I mean, he was a bit asleep, it seemed, on the restart there. Oscar was very close, but he also mentioned there was something with the battery power. Was that also affecting him, or was it just really down to him?
We had a small battery issue, which we got to look at, which I think didn't help him.
Was directly involved in this battle, yeah? The battery
at the start there, we had a battery issue at the start.
Oh man, okay, well that could be a big one, huh? Because it only takes a tiny amount there, and that could have been
going up.
Could have been costing him the win there today.
Yeah.
So that's a real tough one.
Yeah.
So that was definitely just on Lando's car, because we heard later Oscar was also having some. Okay, so
let me do some homework.
Fine.
We had some battery issues there at the start.
So we know what happened at the start. Lando lost the lead. The rain then sort of dried up, and your drivers didn't opt to double stack. I think you thought that was the best option, but around here it's a long lap. So was the hard tyre the right choice for Lando today? And it was interesting for us. I mean, we got to see a split strategy and kept it interesting.
I think it was so close there at the end. We weren't sure if Oscar was going to be able to carry the medium, and so we kind of asked him just if he could to match his times, and he was able to do that the whole way through. And then Lando started to catch him, and then made a mistake there 2-3 laps from the end. So I think it's one of those, it's kind of too close to call. Was it a mistake when both cars end 3 seconds from each other at the end of a Grand Prix with no safety cars? It's kind of hard to say one got it right, one got it wrong.
Sure.
We got to mention it wasn't just one mistake, huh? It was 3 mistakes from Lando there, and it cost him up to 4 seconds of race time, which was exactly the 4 seconds which could have given him a shot on the last lap to go for the win. You guys saw that as well.
Yeah, there was a couple untidy errors there, I think in the second sector, and then towards the end. But obviously he was pushing there. So
and a little bit of lost time in the pit stop as well for him. So all that compounded.
Had, left front, I think it was. We had a bit of an issue with.
So a couple more laps, do you think he would have caught him?
I don't know. Oscar then kind of set his fastest laps there at the end, so you never quite know how much he had left in the tank, so to speak.
I know there's still a while to go in this season, but I feel that the pressure's going to ramp up on you to manage these drivers, because it's going to start getting a bit tense, isn't it?
If we can get in a position where it's just our two guys fighting for the championship, then that's actually
Don't you feel like you're already there?
No, I think it's too early. It's looking good, but it's, Max is... there's a lot of racing left to go. So, we've got a nice gap, but I wouldn't say we're there.
He's Oscar Piastri's race number ahead of Max Verstappen. 81 points now, the difference between Max and Oscar in the front. So, it's a tall order, but as you say, you can never write Max off, can you?
Well, we've all been around this sport too long to start dancing before you're in the end zone is a very dangerous thing to do.
Speaking of Max there, of course, there was a big change to that team. Your, I dare say, enemy, the word, has left that team, Christian Horner. What were your feelings around that? Is there a little bit of happiness in you somewhere to be found that enemy is now gone?
No. Competition makes you stronger. So from that sense, they keep you on your toes. I think Laurent's very good. As you know, the sport moves on quickly, so it probably won't be something that we're talking about come Monday. And it's a great racing team, so we got to pay attention. I was telling someone this morning, even the worst team in Formula One right now is really good. So I think all this competition makes you better. He had fantastic results. It's a shame to kind of go out the way he did.
That was a very diplomatic answer.
I think he's going to miss him secretly.
Just to highlight quickly Oscar's performance. I mean, in Silverstone, up until he had the penalty, it was really his race to win. This weekend, it really feels like the win's mostly been in his sails. With your drivers being so evenly matched, and you can see it in the championship points, do you feel that right now Oscar has a little bit of an advantage? He seems to feel more comfortable, or, what would you say? Who's got the positive momentum at the moment?
I mean, they both do, because they're winning a lot and finishing, nice these 1-2s. No, I think, Oscar was a little disappointed yesterday with qualifying. Lando, was obviously very happy. I'm sure he'll be a little bummed that he didn't win today, but it's coming off of 2 wins. So I think it's going to be a coin toss every weekend.
There's a very nice little stat: 31 races in the points for Oscar.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's like as consecutive as Hamilton and Verstappen. So it's a record. So
he's a
very consistent driver.
He's a machine. What's impressive is how aggressive he is, but yet always brings the car home. That's quite a
so
talent.
calm aggression. Yeah, very good stuff. Okay, well, listen, we'll let you go and enjoy yourself. We'll see you in Hungary. Well done today, and thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Enjoyed it. Thank you. And interesting, actually, because Zach did say the battery pack was something that affected both of his drivers. But fascinating there, Nico, that one overtake can be the catalyst for such a domino effect throughout the rest of the race.
Sure, but that's how it often is in sports. You know, you got to seize that one opportunity that you get handed to you. And that's what Oscar Piastri did so brilliantly. And he's shaping up to be such an incredible driver, which we all didn't really see coming last year, that he would be at this world-class level suddenly now, you know, dominating the championship in the way that he is for now. So it's really brilliant to watch, yeah.
And it really re-emphasizes the point that Oscar made yesterday, that actually this is the worst pole, because ultimately he did exactly what Max did in the sprint to him.
He did, yes. So that ultimately is what gave him track position, and as we said, in these conditions, that put him in the best position to, you know, get that first pit stop opportunity before his teammates, and put him in better conditions. But you have to say, with what they did, I think they, as Ant pointed out, I think they did make the right decision with Lando to put him on that hard tire to try to make up for the difference that he lost by staying out a lap longer. But I wonder if he just sort of started pushing a little bit earlier. I mean, he theoretically, with a two-step harder compound, should have had a little bit more juice for a little longer in the race. I think he could, maybe they played it too conservative, but I know they didn't know what they were going to do. They thought maybe at some point Oscar was going to maybe pit for a second set, and I just wonder how much communication really happens on the pit wall between the two different race engineers and how much they keep to themselves. But yeah, it cost him today, and the little mistakes definitely didn't help.
And I guess ultimately they were lacking data, having just had one practice session as well coming into this weekend, in terms of the tyre behaviour.
Well, I think a lot of the teams ran the hard tyre actually in FP1, and I think they were all surprised to see how well it actually performed on the track without much deg. So I wouldn't necessarily say they didn't have much information on the hard, but yes, maybe the medium was the one compound that they didn't have too much information on, other than the sprint race, of course.
They were quite tentative on it, weren't they? Okay, so let's hear from Lando Norris now. He's in the pen with Craig.
Well, Lando, obviously a bit of disappointment, particularly on that first racing lap. Was a battery issue, a sort of charging issue, a contributor to losing the lead? No. Just the strength of the slipstream, effectively.
Yeah, the slipstream, and we saw it already on Saturday. So, yeah, the slipstream, especially when it's wet, and especially when you're the first car, you have to push through the first bit of water, which means like the following effect in the rain like this is even more than normal. I didn't get the best turn one, so I need to go and look at things and see if I had two snaps on the exit, and maybe that could have got me out of trouble, but I think it only would have given Oscar an even bigger slipstream to pass me. So I think, like we saw on Saturday, it's just tough to lead from the beginning. I'm not saying I did the best job, but yeah, it just seems like this weekend it was headwind down that straight and just pretty much impossible to keep ahead. So nothing to complain about too much. It was a good race otherwise. I gave it a good shot. I was pushing hard, but not enough.
Yeah, I mean, you got it down to, what, 2-3 seconds. Was it in the pushing to close that gap that there were maybe a couple of lockups as you run wide once?
Yeah, I had a couple of lockups in one. I went off in Puan. I had a big bump. Again, I lost a couple seconds there, so 1 second. At the same time, Oscar made some mistakes as well. So it's just the conditions were tricky. I'm sure everyone just made mistakes like that, especially for me when I was trying to gain that time. I had to push. I couldn't just chill. And when you're playing on the edge like that, yeah, you're going to make some mistakes. But that's drive, that's racing, that's life. So yeah, in a way, I'm not unhappy. I need to look what much more I could have done today. I felt like I still did a good job. I felt like I was quick. I felt like I was on top of things. But, just lap one let me down.
We move on. Thank you. Well done.
Yeah, back to that point, isn't it? The smallest of mistakes does have a huge impact, particularly when the margins are so very small between two drivers. Just how tough would it have been out there when you're having to push so very hard in these conditions?
Yeah, that's fair play to listen to Lando's words there, that he was just qualifying lap after qualifying lap on the absolute edge, and then perhaps a couple of mistakes like that happen. I just question whether someone like Hamilton, if he also would have made 3 mistakes, which I'm not sure, pushing like crazy, in a race like that when there's hammer time, that I'm not sure. I think they don't happen then, those 3 mistakes. But anyway, still, hats off anyways. Lando still did a good job this weekend, and tough first lap there, yeah, as he said.
I guess he'll be excited to go racing again just next weekend.
Well, it's good to always be able to turn the page really quickly, but I don't think there's too much for them to be disappointed about. I mean, they have finished first and second. Yes, it is a tight championship battle and you want to win everything, but I think he's got enough to be motivated about. As Zach rightly pointed out yesterday, he did put it on pole position, although I still think Oscar's first mistake in his first run cost him, and that his second lap could have actually ended up being better than Lando's. But they're very, very closely matched at the moment. Some circuits suit one driver better than the other, and apparently Hungary seems to be a circuit that Lando loves. So who's to know who will be quicker there between the two of them?
So too does Oscar Piastri, though, of course. I mean, getting his first win in Formula One at the Hungaroring. Okay, after the break, we will hear from Max Verstappen.
Well, Max, it's a strong 4th place, I guess. Just in terms of when the race started and the conditions at that point, you'd set up for the wet. It almost felt they were waiting for dry conditions to get going. Could they have got going a bit earlier?
Yeah, miles earlier. I mean, 1 hour earlier. It was just, a bit of a shame. Yeah, of course, they took a very cautious approach. Of course, we spoke about it after Silverstone to be a little bit more cautious because there was quite a lot of water there. But this, for me, was then the other extreme of waiting. And it just ruins a nice classic wet race as well. So we either still try to push to go for a proper wet race, or we just say, you know what, we stop racing in the wet and we just wait for it to be dry. But that's it's not what you want, right? I mean, I think we can have some really cool wet racing, like it showed also, I guess, at Silverstone here. So, yeah, that compromises then, of course, today with the rear wing. But at the end of the day, the problems that we have with the car and tire management is still there. It doesn't matter what rear wing you put on the car, and that also hurt us a little bit today in the race.
Yeah, you talked about the clipping, the harvesting it for the battery as well. But for that, would you have maybe taken the final podium position?
Well, I mean, we then changed the clipping a bit around. But yeah, when you run that wing, of course, naturally on a track like this, you always have that trouble. So we did the best we could. I think immediately when I said it on the radio, we made some changes and it was much nicer around the lap. But yeah, we know what we have to work on. Unfortunately, it's not that straightforward to fix.
Well, yeah, then just as a reminder, we were delayed 1 hour and 20 minutes, and you knew that Max was fed up about that because you also know that he just revels in those conditions. You probably thought, oh yeah, I'm in for a shot here in those conditions, but he didn't have the opportunity to prove it.
Yeah, it was interesting during the first reconnaissance lap, the different opinions. You know, Lando, of course, is leading the race, so he prefers to drive in the safest conditions possible and wanted to postpone the start and was coming up with all kinds of stories that even behind the safety car you can't see anything, etc. And then you had the craziest of them all, which is then Max Verstappen say, I don't care, I just want to go racing. I don't even need to see where I'm going. Let's just go racing.
It's just purely instinctive for him. How would you assess his weekend as a whole, Naomi? Because obviously that sprint win was great, but this, the podium once again eludes him, and he hasn't been on the podium since Canada, which I couldn't quite believe. It seems strange to think that, doesn't it?
It does and it doesn't. I mean, Red Bull have had a car this year all year long that sort of has good performance on tracks that have really high speed sort of characteristics, but not necessarily other circuits. They have really been struggling, and I think that's why they keep driving this point that there needs to be a change from a technical perspective, because whilst every now and again he's able to extract the maximum out of that car when all, the things come together and it's in the favor of the knife edge, but on average, it's not a car that necessarily they can get the best out of. So I'm not too surprised by that stat. His weekend as a whole started great. I mean, to have that victory in the sprint, I think took a lot of people by surprise, particularly after the big gap that McLaren had in the sprint shootout. I agree with him, though. It's a bit of a shame. Everybody, set their cars up yesterday, taking a gamble, expecting the rain to start and to come. And the rain did come, but we did wait really long. And it's such a difficult decision for the FIA to make because it is a safety-related matter. So nobody wants to take big risks. They don't want to put these drivers in positions where they're risking themselves too much, but they're also dependent on the feedback of the drivers. And you're right, there was so much different feedback. I mean, Lewis at the end was saying he didn't think it was necessary for them to have a rolling start. He would have opted for a standing start. So the drivers, I think, play their own games over the radio to best suit themselves, and the FIA do the best to work with what information they're getting from the safety car driver and then from the driver's feedback as well.
And how do you think Laurent Mekies will reflect on his first weekend in charge? Because obviously yesterday was a great day. All 4 cars in the Red Bull family through to Q3. Bit of a mixed day today. Obviously a great result for Liam Lawson. Had you right down at the bottom, and mixed result also for Verstappen and Tsunoda.
Yeah, I think for Laurent, I mean, it started amazingly with the win in the sprint race, and then today it's okay. It's the same as usual, right? It's usually they're best of the rest behind the McLaren most of the time, and now there was a Ferrari that just slipped through because of a mistake in qualifying, really, which can happen. And yeah, so I think it's anyways, we need to give him some time now to get into the team, get to figure out his role, his position. It's going to take a bit of time, but I'm sure he will do a great job.
Okay.
Well, that was really exhilarating to watch, Lewis, from the pit lane start to 7th. Did you enjoy that a good bit better today?
Yeah, I mean, I always love races like that where you're challenged and having to make your way through the field. That's really kind of like how my life started in racing at Wright House, as we had not such a great go-kart, and we'd always start at the back. So very reminiscent of that sort of thing, and great work by the team. Ultimately, disappointed to have had not such a great weekend. Definitely one to forget, but at least I've still got some points, and we outscored Mercedes collectively. And but yeah, I got to go back, and you can't always get it right. And there are lots of factors that contributed to Friday. Saturday was again some factors, but ultimately me, and then obviously recovered a little bit today. But big thanks to the team. I'll try and come stronger next week. I think I know the car a lot better now, all the changes that we've made, so I've got a lot more confidence.
Yeah, lifting and coasting, you had to do a bit of that at the end, but for that, could you have attacked Alex Albon a bit more?
I think maybe right at the end I would have been able to attack him, but we underfield. We're basically underfield, I think, for the win we had.
Just very quickly, I know you went to see young Kimi Antonelli, who's having to fill your position at Mercedes. He's very young. I mean, it's you feel for him. You know maybe what he's going through, being a young man in that position.
Oh man, I can't imagine what it's like at 18, or try to imagine what it's like at 18 to do what he's doing. I think he's been doing fantastic, but to be thrown in the deep end at 18 is, he hadn't even had his driving license, when he first started racing it. So I think it's a lot on someone's shoulders, and I think he's doing a great job, and he's got a great group of people around him. So I think you just got to take it in your stride, which I think he is, and he's got, as I said, he's got Bono by the side of him. He doesn't have anyone better.
It was more about fuel loads, so that compromised him today to be able to push at the end.
Yeah, so he made up 6 positions from 13th to 7th. That's awesome. By calling it himself. He's the guy who says, okay, I think I can get this done with the slicks now, and did it. The first one in, awesome, super job.
I mean, that kind of experience is invaluable at Ferrari, isn't it? I think this is a good weekend for the team. His teammates on the podium, he finished in 7th. They'll be going away with their heads held high, won't they?
Yeah, I guess it's a
good recovery.
I mean, great, because they kept Verstappen behind. That's awesome. And they will be pleased that Mercedes seem to be really struggling here. So they'll be hoping maybe if they can keep up that form, and that helps them a lot in the Constructors' Championship also a lot, where there's a direct fight there with the Mercedes. Yeah, I guess they'll be generally quite positive. Nevertheless, it's still 20 seconds that they're off McLaren. That's a big chunk.
Okay, well, after the break, we'll be reflecting on Lewis's old team, Mercedes, and a strong race from Alex Albon.
Kind of came to us once we put on the dry tyres. We were quick. I think not as quick as the top teams, but quick enough to hold off Lewis. And we had a new upgrade this weekend. Finished maybe, I think, 10, 11, 12 seconds in front of the next midfield car. So good statement of intent from us, and hopefully we can keep scoring some good points.
Yeah, you see a real groove. Even when you have a situation like you have on Friday, you can take that sort of thing in your stride now and come back.
Yeah, it's to a point now where as long as everything's running smoothly, we should score points, and that's a very unique feeling for myself and a great feeling for the team. We can generally do a good job every week and execute, and we've had a lot of difficult races the last few races, slicks, wets, all the keys kind of things, and we still come away with good points as long as we finish the race. Thank you.
So his 4th top 6 finish of the season. All smiles for Alex Albon. Impressive day for him, wasn't it?
Super job. A great job there. He's leading the team, huh? And that with Sainz's arrival, with Sainz down in 18th, another rough day for him, kind of. And Alex just keeps ramping up those points. Huh? I mean, the amount of points he has, he's in a great position in the World Championship. Hats off, fantastic job.
Fair to say, though, Carlos Sainz has had a fair bit of bad luck this season already, and a horrible pit stop today, losing. And as Nico says, finished in 18th. Difficult to recover from that.
Yeah, very difficult to recover from that, and I think everyone in the team will be gutted about that. The team never want to cost a driver an opportunity to have a good race, but it's a sad end to what started off as a great weekend for him, because yesterday we were saying what good traction he's having, and all of a sudden he's feeling more comfortable in building his momentum at the team, and then today to be knocked down. But I think after that, I'm not sure if that was the list for him to opt for the 2-stop, but he was one of the few. I think there were only 6 drivers out there mistaken, but it didn't end up working out for him today. So I think today it didn't end up working out for him today. So I think today is a day for him to write off. But I do think that there are positives this weekend from him to take away. And if he looks at his teammate, there's even more reason to be positive about the performance of the car, the raw performance, because as he said, he's 13 seconds ahead of the next midfield car. So good stuff for Williams.
Kind of difficult on sprint weekends, isn't it? Because you go from hero to zero and back again in the space of a couple of days. I mean, it feels like we've already had 3 race weekends rolled into one.
Even just being behind, with you guys, it's like so intense. We have so much commentating to do, which is great. I mean, for all of us fans, it's great. Huh? More action. So I love these sprint race weekends. I think it's very, very good.
God, it got very cold though all of a sudden.
We've had 4 seasons in a day. I mean, we're experiencing winter right now, but we had everything. Autumn on the grid, we had summer. We've had everything.
And Kimi Antonelli has experienced a lot of emotions throughout this weekend too. Let's hear from him now.
Well, Kimi was on a better day today. It was certainly a good learning experience in conditions like that. I mean, talking to George, his point is the car in relative terms has maybe lost a bit of performance to the rest of the field. That's something he could be maybe more aware of than you in your first season with the team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been struggling a bit more recently, that's for sure. And as well myself, been struggling more to get the confidence. Today was a step forward, to be honest. With the bigger win, that definitely helped me to feel more comfortable in the car, and especially in those laps where I was alone, I was able to extract more pace, and I felt decent out there. So definitely, there were good learnings still, and now we just need to do a better qualifying, because I think the race pace has been strong recently, but if you start at the back, you're not able to use your pace. So I think it's important to start at the front, and because it's a completely different story. I mean, Canada was the proof, was a lot different. So on my side, I just need to really work hard and to really focus on qualifying and trying to do a better result, because I feel like we haven't been able to show the potential and to get the result we deserve because of a poor qualifying performance from my side.
Have you got to not be too self-critical? Did Lewis come around? Did he say words to those effect? I mean, you can't just be the finished article in season 1, can you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always try to put myself first. I don't like to blame others before analyzing my performance, and I think in some occasion things went out of my control, like I couldn't do much. But I think in other occasion a lot was down to me, and I think qualifying, it's been a bit weak, just because I feel like in qualifying with the low fuel, the potential is so high that I've been able to extract it, and that was mainly because I've been lacking confidence. But today was a step forward on that side.
Thank you. Well, lucky that you got past Alex early doors, and then after that, relatively lonely race for you, or how tough was it out there?
Yeah, it was pretty underwhelming, to be honest, because we tend to favour the cooler conditions, so we couldn't have really asked for a better weather for us. But we've just had no pace recently. We need to sit down, all of us. We're going to have a big meeting this week with all the designers and engineers to sort of understand the decisions we've made in recent weeks or months and why we've gone backwards. So hoping for some improvements in Hungary.
Yeah, you're still getting good results. Kimi's had a little bit of a tough spot. I think, you know, we've seen that. Is there a role for you in kind of helping him through it, mentoring him there?
I mean, the fact is he's, in terms of his own performance, it's no worse than it was, no better, no worse than at the start of the season. It's just as a team we've gone backwards. So, you know, he was out in Q1 yesterday, but he was only 3 tenths off me. In Canada, he was 6 tenths off me, but I qualified pole and he was P4. So, you know, it's the pace of the car has a big influence on how a driver's performance is perceived. So, of course, it's frustrating for me, it's frustrating for him, it's frustrating for us as a team, but we're in it together ultimately, and we need to figure it out.
Are we going to get any contract news by Hungary? Or?
No.
Okay, thanks. Jordan.
What kind of advice would you be giving him?
Advice that I would be giving him. Question a little bit his setup also, because how is it working with his dad, with the engineers, with all that? Like, question if that's optimized, or could something be done even better there? And then, what you can do is prepare. It's all in the preparation. Prepare as hard as you can with everything. For example, also get rid of all the distractions. Like, certainly this year, he has accepted a few too many distractions. Like in Imola, his whole Bologna football team, soccer team was there. Schoolmates were there. Like, all of that, delete. Like, completely delete. Zero. Go to zero on that stuff. Just you, your team, go racing. That's it. Not even friends, family. Leave them all at home. And just, unless you really need them for your comfort, then that's fine, obviously. But anything that's distracting, leave it at home. Prepare with the team. Go simulator. Double up on the simulator time in the factory. And just preparation. That's the best you can do.
Talking of comfort, are you regretting giving me your jacket now?
No, but it looks very cool on you, to be honest. It's very stylish.
I love it. What a gentleman.
You can pull it off.
You've got
I'm
goosebumps.
absolutely freezing. It's like, feels like 5 degrees here at the moment.
And it's starting to rain on top of everything.
Oh, isn't it wonderful? Lovely to be back in Spa. A quick word on George Russell. I mean, after the heroics of Canada and, you know, perhaps a bit of a false storm maybe for the team, because as he mentioned there, they probably would have expected to be better in these conditions, wouldn't they?
Well, I think the general feeling, I mean, look, just to go back to Kimi there for a second, he keeps saying that he's struggling to find the confidence, but I find that it's slightly difficult to believe, because you see moments like when he went out in Q1, in SQ1 rather, I should say, he was pushing very hard, so he's got confidence. I mean, we saw a brilliant overtaking maneuver from him today. Okay, well, brilliant. It looked confident, and initially it was a bit aggressive. It didn't pay off in the end, but I think the problem is overall both of those drivers are suffering with the balance of the car, and this weekend particularly, I think they all expected to take a step forward, to come to these cooler conditions, and this is where they would shine. And unfortunately, it's just been a horrible weekend for both of them. So as he said, back to the drawing board for Mercedes. I know they've been struggling a lot in this regulation era. They don't have a long time to go, but what's going on here?
No, sorry, I thought I was out of camera. I was trying to keep warm. Then I was like, oh no, I'm on the camera. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to be disrespectful.
I can hear the party.
No, I didn't mean to
Belgium knows how to party.
I'm just free. I was trying to move.
Because I've nicked his jacket. He's freezing. He's having a little dance to warm up.
I get it. I mean, the music's good.
Yeah.
It's freezing cold. Do what you got to do, Nico. I don't know why you gave her your jacket. Gentleman.
He's a good lad.
But in any case, they don't have a long way to go to the end of the season, Mercedes, and then next year the whispers are they could be the ones on top, so not long to go of the suffering.
Did you hear George Russell? He was like, oh no, definitely I won't have a contract signed by Hungary.
That. Should I steal an umbrella while this
so
chaos
strange
is going
that
on?
it's so definitive that he knows nothing's going to happen until Hungary. So there must be something cooking there, right?
He almost laughed it off, didn't he? I mean, Hungary is only a week away, though.
Sure, but it's like we're in August then, huh?
Yeah.
Like there's only a couple of months left after that to the end of the season, and he's like, oh no, for sure I'm not going to have a contract yet. That's like I don't know, to be a Bit extreme, no?
A lot of negotiations going on. I don't know, how hard is Toto to negotiate with?
Does he get blue ticks when you see them? So you send a message,
and he will have figured out how to avoid the blue ticks as well. So so as soon as the message pops up as a notification, you just read the first part of it and you just don't actually open it. By the way, this is not a fact, huh? This is not a fact. This is just me making it up.
Stirring.
But I remember from my time that was his style, like just like disappearing, not answering, being hard to reach, hard to get, and it's horrible because you're like, come on, and you have nothing, you have no chance.
Maybe you can borrow George, your yacht, to dock off the coast.
Yeah, do whatever you can to happen to cross paths. Yeah, you need to find a way to cross paths and casually, hey, why don't we get a move on or whatever, and yeah.
Love it, love it. Can we head to that yacht now? It's freezing here in Spa.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thank you so much for your company, Nico. Brilliant as ever. And of course, you, Naomi.
Thank you.
You had a good weekend?
Yes, have you had a good weekend? Are you happy to leave?
What? No, I just want to stay here forever and chat away with you two. Okay, well, Ted's Notebook follows us. And then, of course, we're back racing again in under a week. We can't wait to get to Hungary. Thank you so much for your company. Bye-bye for now.